but we'll just type in localhost since that's easier. And this might actually need to specify the file path further. Okay, so we'll add media wiki dash 1.18.0, and let's take it up. We need to add an I. And this is actually a wiki that I created earlier with the name IST400 Group 3. Now this would also be the same for the tables that we just recently created, and it would take us to a configuration screen where we could specify different settings for different aspects of the wiki. But it would be the same concept. So pretty much we would see a screen like this. It would be MediaWiki, and then the version. Of course, our version is 1.18, and it would say please set up the wiki first. Then it show us a bunch of configuration. This would be the site configuration portion of the index.php script, which runs once we navigate to the local host. So that'll just prompt us to create a wiki name, contact email language, copyright / license info, anything, admin, username, password, shared memory, caching, etc., etc. Then we move on to the email notification and authentication configuration. So all these settings you could choose on your own. You can make that judgment. And then we move on to the database configuration, which would be in our MySQL in this case. Add your name, database username, and whatever password that you specified. Like ours was foobar, for instance, for our example. Then here you just add in your root, would be your username here, and then you'd enter whatever your root password is. And here you'd further specify anything to do with MySQL, such as database table prefixes, your storage engine, database character set, etc., etc. And finally, go to our environment check and the creation of the personal wiki / blog page. So it's going to check your environment to make sure that you have everything necessary to start up the wiki. And if everything goes swimmingly, you should see installation successful. And then you'll be prompted to move the configuration / local settings.php file to the parent directory, which we were talking about earlier. So that'd be the /media wiki dash 1.18 .0 file, which is within the media wiki directory that we created. This is just so we can centralize all the source files and the server can just read from one place. Believe me, it makes it easier. So we would move that through this command. We would move the local settings.php file, which will automatically pop up once you are done running through the index.php script, which is the script that runs once you navigate to the local host upon initial configuration of the wiki. So we're going to go back to our command line prompt, and as you can see, we should see a local settings.php. There it is, local settings.php. See, we already have it in our source folder, media wiki dash 1.18.0. It's right here. But originally we had it in our downloads folder, so what we did was we just executed this command here, sudo copy, and we do local settings.php. Make sure that's case sensitive, so make sure to take that into effect. So /var /www /media wiki, and if we execute that, that would copy the local settings.php to the MediaWiki folder, our parent directory, and we'll execute that. Alright, well, we've already moved it, so we would assume that that would work, obviously. But for the sake of this tutorial, we've already done that. And it's actually local settings, so that's probably why I can't find the file. Alright, and now it executed properly since we didn't get any error messages. So just remember to spell the file name right, of course, and that would we now find that here. Just change directory for a second back to var and then just go back to MediaWiki. Just list the contents in there. And actually, this is the local.settings.php file that we just copied. We actually copied it into the MediaWiki file, not the MediaWiki-1.18.0 file. Now, normally we'd actually put the MediaWiki-1.18 file, configure that better actually, so we wouldn't have to navigate from MediaWiki to MediaWiki/1.18. So we'd actually try to get rid of that second MediaWiki folder by trying to place it within the MediaWiki file. But for the sake of this tutorial and just having everything functioning properly, we'll just go with that. You know, you can always play around with your folder paths and configuration, but just make sure that everything is kept within one document. But remember, the more folders you have, the further that you're going to have to specify that in the URL to the specific folder path that you're navigating to, since the more folders you have, the more complex it is, and the more the server has to go through each file path to get to the next file path, which eventually will bring you to your source files. But we just did it this way, and as you can see, our local settings.php file that we just copied is in here, but earlier we copied it into the MediaWiki-1.18.0 folder. Alright, so once we have that, then we can navigate. We can click on a link that would show up. Actually, it's right here. If you follow this link right here, if you navigate back to your browser, and this would be after, of course, moving the local settings.php to your parent directory, and then you'd get a page that looks something like this. So this would be your main page, and it would say MediaWiki has been successfully installed. And in here you can customize anything you want. You can add a logo. You can navigate to your community portal where you can post information. We've already see, this is IST 400 Group 3 community portal. If you navigate to the discussion page within the community portal, you can create different posts and discuss things with different people. So you'll be able to add threads through this interface here, and you can go to current events page, recent changes, random page, etc. and so forth. And then of course, you log in to make these changes. But I think we all get the idea here. Oops. Oops. Alright, well, assuming you had the correct username and password combo, you'd be able to get into your wiki and make make little edits and change things around and customize things with the various over 600 extensions that MediaWiki comes with. You can edit all those in your local settings.php file, which is why that file is so important and integral to MediaWiki. But there you go. I hope learn something about how to configure MediaWiki on your Ubuntu 10.04 operating system. So thank you very much for listening, and have a good day. Thank you. Bye.